Sri Chaitanya Sthapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jata Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Sri Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu Bhajan Anukula. So let's try to understand what is Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti would have many definitions according to the level of realizations. Okay. And more and more intensified devotional service that will be Shuddha Bhakti, when we'll be having no other second thought about our surrounding, that is different from the internal meditation. So let's look into the idea of reaching to the level of Shuddha Bhakti. Only Shuddha Bhakti can become Tivra Bhakti. Other Bhaktis are not Tivra. Tivra means acute, where all the extremes will be there, and there is no limit. So let's see. We are entering into the introduction of this book, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani. So fulfill Lord Chaitanya's desire that Krishna consciousness spread to every town and village of the world. Srila Prabhupada founded a spiritual organization and named it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. He derived this inspiration for this name from the following verse by Srila Rupa Goswami. Do you know this? Let's see. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi Kriyatam Yadi Kuto Api Aplapyadhe Tatra Laulyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukritai Nalabhyate. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activities in hundreds and hundreds of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, the intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. This is in Padyavali, 14th verse. This is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 8th chapter, 70th verse. So, Krishna consciousness is Srila Prabhupada's succinct but substantially concentrated translation of Sanskrit phrase Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. To be absorbed in the mellows, the taste of executing devotional service to Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada gave a lecture in Los Angeles, 15th August 1972, quoting first canto, second chapter, 12th verse. In his purport to this sloka, Srila Prabhupada writes, this verse refers to devotional service rendered out of intense greed, spontaneous loving service of the Lord without extraneous efforts or endeavors. This is also quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 8th chapter, 70th verse. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that. Srila Prabhupada often said that the way to awaken this greed for spontaneous loving service is to associate with pure devotees. The successful outcome of keeping such company is to acquire love for Krishna, and only means by which one can attain him. This is also in the same lecture that was given on 15th August 72. Prabhupada is speaking further. And where can one find such a sublime association? Prabhupada wanted it to be available in ISKCON. He states, it is only this institution, this Krishna consciousness movement, that is teaching people how to see Krishna. This is in Journey of Self-Discovery, second part, Super Consciousness. Everyone can see God, page 41 to 42. Thus, he makes it clear that the intended mission of the society, so he painstakingly nurtured from its inception, is that it becomes spiritual institution in which its members, by following his teachings, would awaken the spontaneous devotion with which to purchase Krishna, and then provide the kind of association that would help others to do the same. What a painstaking effort to find out the appropriate verses to justify the need of cultivating the greed, and it is embedded in the writings of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada's teachings are the prime source of our Krishna consciousness to be developed, nurtured, and make it to the highest point. So all the quotations are there, but one has to find out with painstaking efforts. Shivaram Maharaj is really endowed a spiritual potency to do all this. So he must be empowered in literary, explanations in the form of these books that we are studying. So cultivate the faith with reference to the context. That is the following in ISKCON, what is wanted. Prabhupada always say, I'm writing books for my disciples to study, and we do not have a regular cultivation of even our aptitude to read the books. So naturally, in that reciprocation, we are far away from understanding the intricate understanding of what is the greed and how can we go to Krishna Loka without developing love for him. It is to be done right here on the planet Earth. Don't go uneducated to Golok Vrindavan. That is a whimsical thinking. So Prabhupada provided, and all these are quotations that have been put forward to ascertain that Maharaj is not manufacturing anything to provide us. We should put faith on the writings of Srila Prabhupada and ascertaining these quotations of Srila Prabhupada and uh, uh, targeting a point of essentiality to understand that everything is available in the books of Srila Prabhupada. Now, everything is being concentrated and given to us in the form of books. It's not like a novel. Novel doesn't need a reference to context. It is simply coming out the fertile brain. What is fertile? But dirty brain of the materialist mind. So, what we are being offered here is a very trustworthy, very what you call experiential nature of an advanced devotee, and we should feel fortunate that we are taking these teachings from him. It is just like associating with uh, uh, a senior disciple from whom we can learn, we can advance. So, Prabhupada states in that lecture of in Los Angeles, 15 August 1972, it is only this institution, this Krishna consciousness movement, that is teaching people how to see Krishna. Thus, he makes it clear that the intended mission of society he so painstakingly nurtured from its inception is that it became a spiritual institution in which its members, by following his teachings, would awaken the spontaneous devotion with which to purchase Krishna and then to provide the kind of association that would help others to do the same. I hope this become a standard textbook. Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani. The meaning of Krishna consciousness. In 1966, a friend suggested a name for Srila Prabhupada's new society that would be more familiar to the Westerners, the International Society for God Consciousness. But Srila Prabhupada rejected the title as vague and unscientific. He insisted the name of his society includes the word Krishna consciousness because people could then identify his society with the concrete conception of God. This is also spoken of Srila Prabhupada in Lilamrita, volume 2, page 129. Srila Prabhupada also commented that if I keep the name of this society, International Society for God Consciousness, then they will bring all the gods of the world and make a hodgepodge, and they would not understand. That was the function of Theosophist society. And this sense of theology and theosophist was in his mind, even he uses in front of those scholars and teachers of Oriental religion and big universities like Harvard, Lancaster, Oxford, and so forth and so on, Berkeley. And Prabhupada defeated the so-called unfounded or unsupported view of who God is. Theology means who God is. And Prabhupada puts the point. And they agree. You can see in the video in Acharya series 3, I think. The name accommodates both devotion to the countless expansions of Krishna and confidential essence of teaching of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. Avatars of Krishna descend in every age, but appearances of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya are extremely rare, occurring only once in every 24 hours of Brahma, or once in every, oh my God, what we call 8 abaj, 640 crores years on the earth. This is also said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, 10th verse with the purport. Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya came to give more than just the religious system, Yuga Dharma, for the particular age. They come for confidential reasons as well, to distribute spontaneous loving devotion to Lord Krishna. When Krishna appears, he brings his eternal companion to the earth to display the highest limits of loving exchange known as Vraja Prema. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing, and Prabhupada is giving the purport in Adi Leela, 4th chapter, 15th and 16th verse. As Lord Chaitanya, Krishna appears with the same associates, dressed as sadhus instead of cowherd people, and Lord and his devotees teach the world how to awaken the same Vraja Prema. Thus, Lord Chaitanya inaugurated the means of means to perfection, chanting Hare Krishna, and inundated the world with the ecstasies of perfections, the taste of four mellows of Vrajavasi's love for Krishna. In Krishna's original home, Goloka, the four mellows of love are pure moods of servitorship, friendship, parenthood, and conjugal love. To guide persons to Vraja Prema, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first inspired them to give up deceitful religion and engage in devotional service according to the spiritual injunctions, where purified neophytes could be by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, develop attachment for Krishna's form, qualities, and pastimes, and then spontaneously serve the Lord. This is a sequence of progression. To serve with spontaneous devotion means to cultivate a mood of love similar to the love of one of the Brajavasis. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada quotes Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In the Dasya Rasa, one follows in the footsteps of servants like Chitraka, Patraka, and Raktaka. In the friendly Sakhya Ras, one can become a friend like Baladev, Sridama, and Sudama. In the Vatsalya Ras, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And in Madhurya Ras, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or her lady friend, such as Lalita, and her serving maids, Manjaris, like Rupa and Rati Manjari. This is the essence of all instructions in the matter of devotional service. This has been told in Nectar of Instruction, 8th verse, purport, on page number 73. So we should note that we are meant to follow in the footsteps of Krishna's eternal associates, not attempt to replace or become them. Our aspiration to become, for example, Nanda Maharaj or Vishakha Devi is antithetical to every mood of pure devotional. To be Krishna conscious then means to qualify oneself for spontaneous devotion in one or four mellows of Vraja Bhakti as exemplified by Lord Krishna's eternal companions. Because this understanding is confidential, Srila Prabhupada rarely spoke of it in public and wrote about only sparingly in his books. Yet, because it is essence of Krishna consciousness, His Divine Grace did talk about it, did write about it, and did expect thoughtful devotees to understand and carefully pursue it. For instance, in 1974, when Srila Prabhupada greeted his disciples in Vrindavan at the first major international ISKCON festival, he encouraged them to reflect on and aspire for this perfection. He also warned that such confidential quest, the goal of which is suitable for the Paramahamsas, must be approached with great caution and reverence. He explained that the first step in the quest included understanding Krishna and his devotional service by studying the first nine cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. That initial study complete, their heart purified, devotees could then hear Krishna's pastime in 10th canto and develop attraction for his service of his associates. Following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, devotees could finally hear the pastimes with the gopis without mistaking such leelas for mundane romantic affairs. This was the path to perfection. So, how gradually we have to develop had been given as the guideline here. Just to enter in the subject matter of 10th canto, we have to study first nine cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. That will purify the heart of devotees, which will be allowing him to enter into the Krishna's pastimes in the 10th canto and develop attraction for the service of his associates. Then, following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, devotees could finally hear Krishna's pastimes with the gopis without mistaking such leelas for mundane romantic affairs. This was the path to perfection. So, this is my request. Prabhupada concluded. You have come to Vrindavan. Try to understand what Vrindavan Dham, what is Radha Krishna. Be very cautiously, very carefully, you know. Go through the Panchatattva gradually, you will be able to understand. This is the highest perfection. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy that Aradhya Vastu, worshipable Lord, is Krishna, and he is worshipable. As he is worshipable, his dhama is also worshipable. Follow the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we will be favored by the grace of Krishna and understand him and his pastimes with Srimati Radharani. And this was also be found in the lecture in Vrindavan, March 14, 1974. So you can see the references are filled in every page, implied by the above quotation is an important aspect of Krishna consciousness, although every mellow of pure devotion is perfect and complete. The mellow of conjugal love is transcendently superior to all others. That is also said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 19th chapter, 231, 32, and 34th verses. This topic is elaborately explained in Lord Chaitanya's talk with Ramananda Rai and his teaching to Rupa Goswami. The conclusion is that only recipients of the Gopis' mercy can understand Radha and Krishna's loving affairs. And only those who follow in the gopis' wake can serve in this most confidential expressions of Lord's pleasure potency. No one else is qualified. Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami praises Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for revealing this secret and distributing the conjugal mellow through the Sankirtan movement. Huh? Rupa Goswami. And now Swarup Damodar Goswami is praising the Lord. अनार्पित चरिम चिरात कारुण्येव अवतीर्ण कलौ समर्पयितुम उन्नतोज्ज्वल रसाम स्वभक्ति श्रियम हरिपुरत सुंदर द्युति कदम्ब संदीप्त सदा हृदय कंदरे स्फुरतौ वह शशिनंदन. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the Son of Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the inner coast of my or your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnations has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. This is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamritam Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, 4th verse. So, to clarify even further the meaning of the mellows of conjugal love, Unnata Jvala Rasa, Srila Prabhupada describes that as the perfection of becoming confidential maidservant of Srimati Radharani. In his purport to the 11th verse of the Upadeshamrita, he writes that such perfection is needed, the most exalted method of devotional service for the devotees eager to return to Goloka Vrindavan. What is that most exalted method? The process of achieving this goal is to reside either physically or mentally in Vrindavan, preferably at Radhakund, to take shelter of Sri Radha's confidential maidservants, and under their direction to engage constantly in her loving service. In the time devotees thus absorbed give up their bodies and return to spiritual world. There they serve Sri Radha just as they had done in their meditation on the banks of Radhakund during their lifetime. Srila Prabhupada goes on to say, the conclusion is that to live on the banks of Radhakund and to bathe there daily constitute the highest perfection of devotional service. It is difficult position to attain even for the great sages and devotees like Narada. There is no limit to the glory of Sri Radhakunda. By serving Radhakunda, one can get the opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. And this is also given in Nectar of Instruction, 11th verse, purport, page 89. You can see how systematically Prabhupada is writing with caution at every step of further increment in intensifying the devotional service. There are but a few aspects of the wonderful legacy of Srila Prabhupada's followers have inherited and which is implicit in the words of Krishna consciousness. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji once said that offenseless meditation on the syllable of the holy name would reveal one's Swarupa. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, it is written on page 55, okay, that by serving Radhakunda, one can get opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj is quoting that Gaur Kishore Das Babaji once said that offenseless meditation on the syllables of the holy name would reveal one's Swarupa. Similarly, studying the meaning of the word Krishna consciousness through Srila Prabhupada's teachings will guide us to be our eternal identity to Lord Krishna. So His divine grace, His teachings have been painstakingly enshrined in His books, and they dispel all doubts about how to become Krishna conscious. Thus, devotees serious about following Srila Prabhupada can always turn to his books for guidance. Still, devotees sometimes reminiscent about how much easier it was to practice Krishna consciousness when Srila Prabhupada was with us. Srila Prabhupada easily resolved all controversies and answered all questions clearly. There is no arguing about the value of Srila Prabhupada's physical presence, Vapu. However, His divine grace taught His followers not to be overly dependent upon the temporary body, even the temporary body of the spiritual master. He wrote a letter to Tushta Krishna in Ahmedabad, 14th December 1972. So he considered his eternal instructions, Vani, more important than whatever his disciple could glean from his physical presence. To neglect or ignore those instructions would demean his mission, a transgression which should avoid at all costs. Srila Prabhupada said often and explicitly that serious study of his books would fix devotees in a life of voluntary austerity and give them broad perspective of Krishna consciousness according to the Gaudiya understanding. With such a perspective, devotees would be able to understand the importance of applying Krishna consciousness in their own lives as well as preaching it to others. So Srila Prabhupada's books held all the answers how to practice devotional service and how to fulfill all spiritual aspirations. By continually discussing his books amongst themselves, his followers would become perfect in Krishna consciousness. Machita madgata prana bodhayantascha parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. Hardly this is being practiced. Only during the time of giving Bhagavatam class, only a few devotees will ask a question. Most of it goes simply over the heads, as if, they are robots, not reciprocating even to the question. What to speak of getting a bona fide answer through the pages of Srila Prabhupada? Will not give any heed. So therefore our faults are there and we have to repair it in advanced stage. If you want to become advanced, do not give up reading Srila Prabhupada's books. You will get newer and newer insights. This is the nature of the spiritual instructions, either given by Lord Shri Krishna or his pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada. The same instruction will make you more and more realized. But these quotations are supporting the subject matter of Shuddha Bhakta Chintamani. Shuddha Bhakti. So, to neglect such discussion would be to put themselves in harm's way. Srila Prabhupada writes, all the devotees connected with Krishna conscious movement must read all the books that have been translated, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, and others. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep, and fall down from their positions. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain an eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure. This has been spoken in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 25th chapter, 278th verse, purport. So, do you think this instruction is only for those who are full-time devotees in a temple? No. The same atmosphere you have created in the house to obtain the same mercy. That's why household worship of the deity was recommended in the first place. Again, all the devotees connected with Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and others. These are the first, but others means all the books. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep, and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain the eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure. In summary, by faithfully assimilating and following Srila Prabhupada's teachings, devotees will naturally develop spontaneous attachment to Krishna. In time, the devotees' mature spontaneous attachment will inspire Krishna to reveal their spiritual identity, Siddhadeha, their relationship with him, Rasa, and then loving devotion by which to purchase him, Prema. Under the order of Srila Prabhupada's guidance, members of ISKCON who follow Prabhupada's Vani strictly will unquestionably return back home, back to Godhead. Now, I'm requesting all my disciples, regardless sheltered or initiated, second initiated, everybody should read Srila Prabhupada's books. You know, small books can be finished within a week. So just catch up. You know, the standard 3 textbooks that we are learning, that is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. That should be done in a greater scrutiny with the realization of senior devotees. But other books which are easily available, get them. Are we doing an internet library for all the books? Haribol.
Hare Krishna. On your website, Guru Maharaj, when they finally redesigned it, there was a page for links to all of Srila Prabhupada's books. And then Vijayalalasa wrote about all these books being on a library as well. We'll look at that.
Okay.
They can go on to your...
Nobody can have an excuse that they can't have access.
Yeah, Vedabase online, vedabase.io is got all of Prabhupada's books and readily available. All you need is to connect to it. There's no problem in accessing.
It's all free, Prabhus. Previously, we used to pay heavy for getting a Vedabase, but now it is not costing anymore. And moreover, it is updated every now and then. Hello. Can you reflect on this point, Prabhus?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Be regular. Carve out some time. Just like you carved out some time for chanting Hare Krishna, and I trust you. But similarly, carved out some time for read Srila Prabhupada's books. I will trust you more.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for this instruction today. Yeah, we'll definitely do that, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. So, as a part of that, even in our Bhakti Riksha, started doing all the small books because devotees tend to ignore the small books and then directly go to Bhagavad Gita. So now we go through small books. So we've been doing Max Plus Gift as one of our books, which is not available. So made them to in memory verse, go through all the chapters, and finally it's going to be an essay on that. So studiously getting into study the small books first and then go to Bhagavad Gita. Just following in your instructions.
Yes, some of the books are the textbook in Bhakti Shastri, Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Upadeshamrit, and Upanishad, Ishopanishad. These are the 4 books, and they are teaching in 4 months. If you are there personally, can take advantage. You will not miss. But these essential instructions are being repeatedly, told that to become advanced, we must know. I'll depend upon my chanting only. Then, Prabhu, you do not need help of others. If you so desire, the help is available. So do not shy, because now we are entering into the topic of reading Srila Prabhupada's books. We have mentioned the importance of reading Srila Prabhupada's books, but the subject requires further consideration. This section briefly explores the realm of how to study Srila Prabhupada's books. Shuddha Bhakta Chintamani is, after all, most about hearing and reading. Just what you are doing. I'm reading and you are hearing. Of all the Vaishnava authors I study and have learned to know and love, Srila Prabhupada is one who continues to amaze me the most. Devotees know the extraordinary potency of his writings, which have made Krishna known throughout the world. Yet, how many devotees fully appreciate how much knowledge Srila Prabhupada condenses in what appears to be a simple and effortless presentation of Krishna consciousness? It's not complicated. Everybody can understand more or less extent to Krishna consciousness. They understand. But if it's easily understood, then why not deeply understood? So many topics Prabhupada, pulled out and gave them the title of these small books. Rajavidya itself, one easy journey to other planets. That book fascinated me most because the very first chapter itself is Prabhupada is exposing the fallacy of science. And science was my favorite subject. But I was fascinated that how Prabhupada relates the spiritual understanding compared to the scientific explorations. Okay. Anyway, mm, In plain English, with everyday examples, Prabhupada makes elevated devotional moods, complex philosophical concepts, and intricate in linguistic nuance understandable even to laypersons. Indeed, the spiritual truth in Srila Prabhupada's purports are like hidden veins of gold that, when mined, reveal pure nuggets of transcendental wisdom. Devotees who scrutinize Srila Prabhupada's books tend to observe that he often embeds in a few phrases instructions for readers at many levels of advancement. Thus, his teachings are simultaneously relevant to neophytes, intermediates, and the advanced. The devotees who neglect to read Prabhupada's books or who read them superficially cannot perceive his divine grace's many-level guidance. They then lose their taste for hearing and following his direction, and eventually they fall away from the path of pure devotional service. What constitutes superficial reading? When readers fail to see the deeper meaning of the author's intent, their reading is said to be superficial. They see only a shallow, substantial gloss of words. Shallow, too, is their attempt to separate the author's intended meaning from the greater context of his overall teachings. The scriptural texts they eliminate and the writings of previous acharyas. One example of a shallow approach to Srila Prabhupada's books is the misreading of his description of spontaneous devotional service in the second chapter of Nectar of Devotion. Srila Prabhupada writes, Now this sadhana, bhakti, or practice of devotional service may be divided into two parts. The first part is called the service according to the regulative principles, and one has to follow these different regulative principles by order of the spiritual master or on the strength of authoritative scriptures, and then there can be no question of refusal. That is called vaidhi or regulated. One has to do it without argument. Other part of sadhana bhakti is called raganuga. Raganuga refers to the point at which, by following the regulative principles, one becomes a little more attached to Krishna and execute devotional service out of natural love. For example, a person engaged in devotional service may be ordered to rise early in the morning and offer arti, which is a form of deity worship. In the beginning, by the order of the spiritual master, one rises early in the morning and offers arti, but then he develops real attachment. When he gets this attachment, he automatically tries to decorate the deity and prepare different kinds of dress and think of different plans to execute his devotional service nicely. Although it is within the category of the practice, this offering of loving service is spontaneous. So, the practice of devotional service, sadhana bhakti, can be divided into two parts, namely the regulative and spontaneous. This is described in Nectar of Devotion, chapter number 2, page number 21st. So a superficial reading of this text may lead devotee to misconstrue it as a complete definition of Raganuga Bhakti. But such a misconception may accept the definition of spontaneous devotional service as no more than rising automatically for Mangalarti, dressing the deity nicely, and making plans for service. But this definition is incomplete because it fails to consider what Srila Prabhupada says elsewhere in his books on the subject, or what acharyas such as Rupa Goswami say. In the quotation under the discussion, Srila Prabhupada is giving examples of how devotees behave when they develop natural love. the real attachment. But for a complete understanding of spontaneous service, one must look carefully at what Srila Prabhupada says about it directly. For instance, in the chapter 16 of Nectar of Devotion, there he says, persons desiring to follow in the footsteps of such eternal devotees of the Lord, such as Vrishnis and Vrindavan denizens, are called Raganuga devotees, which means that they are trying to attain the perfection of those devotees. There is a gradual development of the ambition to become like a particular devotee, and this activity is called Raganuga. But we must always remember, however, that such eagerness to follow in the footsteps of denizens of Braja Vrindavan is not possible unless one is freed from the material contamination. In following the regulative principles of devotional service, there is a stage called Anartha Nivritti, which means the disappearance of all material contaminations. When one is actually spontaneously attracted to loving principles of the gopis, there will found no trace of any mundane contamination in his character. This is given in Nectar of Devotion, chapter number 16, page number 25. And it is also explained that most of his anarthas are getting over, and he is in the horizon of liberation. Some of the lingering effects of anarthas might be there, but it will soon disappear as soon as he is getting more attraction towards spontaneous devotional service. The rati means attraction, and then it concentrates as an asakti, and there is no limit to this greed asakti. So that is what is needed to cultivate bhava. Bhava means value system. The highest value system in our devotional service is based upon bhava. And that is not material bhava. The bhavas are on the spiritual level, because you are already liberated in nishtha, then attraction and then becomes asakti or attachment. The spiritual progress is there. Material progress has to be gradually eradicated. So we are at the threshold of mukti, that is liberation. That is called nishtha. So Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. If you cultivate the faith on Srila Prabhupada's books, then naturally you will be able to receive the transcendental knowledge. Prabhupada does not give us mundane knowledge. He is giving us transcendental knowledge. So, the proper understanding of the first statement, therefore, is that all spontaneous devotees have a natural attachment for devotional practice. It does not say that superficial reading may infer that devotees who rise early and dress the deities are perfectly are necessarily on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. No, they are not yet, because they have to reflect the Vaishnava character of absorption without any pride, profit, and adoration. He has to become Tranadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Hari. So Sada Kirtan, forever the Kirtan has to continue, will be on that stage. In this way, devotees should be attentive while reading Srila Prabhupada's books. They should not take Prabhupada's statements out of context in his entire teachings, teachings that are a window to the teachings of the previous acharyas. Instead, they should make an effort to understand his writing in a holistic way. Srila Prabhupada worked hard to write his books. Shouldn't we, his followers, show our appreciation for his labors by working just as hard as to understand them? In concluding words, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani uses Srila Prabhupada's teachings as a template, along with the references of the books of our previous acharyas, to systematically present the devotional practices and perfection of Vraja Bhakti, Krishna consciousness. I am an insignificant disciple of a great master, yet by encouragement of Srila Prabhupada, the embodiment of all masters and professors of conclusive truth, I have taken up this task. I pray that it pleases him and all Vaishnavas. As I write, I become more confident that my words will be the value to the ISKCON, and I love so much. But because even the best of the efforts is covered by some fault, I humbly request my learned leaders to correct any mistake they may find and to forgive my shortcomings. Always show the humility in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end also. We stop here. This is Maharaj is telling an introduction and the importance of reading Srila Prabhupada's books. These are our prime source of not only understanding, but also realizing, getting liberated, as well as, entering into the confidential devotional service, this parabhakti. So, conclusion will be, Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru. By following in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada means following in the footsteps of the request of Srila Prabhupada for all his disciples and grand disciples and for 10,000 years. We will be given opportunity to enter into the Rasa Tattva. So never jump. The spiritual masters, as well as his writings, are dependent upon the previous acharyas in the disciplic succession. This is how Prabhupada's writings are bringing closer and connected with the Guru Shishya Parampara. His writings are such with great references. All the time, if there is no a statement which has come out from his mouth. Sometimes people have tried to scrutinize certain situation, and the demons take it as an offensive statement by Srila Prabhupada. But they are trying to stop their devotional service by misunderstanding. And in the West, people are hard-hearted by profession. Paschimi Hridesha Mudana Char. So those who are keeping the status quo in the Western so-called life, it's not civilization, it's a life of hedonistic society of sense gratification. They think their brains are better developed than the brains of other countries. How many are developed in Krishna consciousness? That's a challenge. It means that claim is false. Paschimi Hridesha Muda Anachar. And they try to take Srila Prabhupada's statements out of context. And it became controversy, But anyway, controversies come, controversies subside. That means come hell or high water, we should be steadfast and make a definitive progress, tolerating all such external demoniac, interventions. So anybody has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. There was one question earlier on from Ujjwala Rasagya. You were talking about Tivrena Bhakti, and she's asking how it's applied to someone with health challenges in the body.
Doesn't matter. The call of soul surpasses all the, obstacles of the body, bodily pain, and anything. And more one is engaged during such so-called suffering, she will have opportunity to get liberated faster. Where is the loss? Sickness is not an impediment in Krishna consciousness.
And one from Lala Samayi. How to encourage the devotees who are busy preaching and have no time to read Srila Prabhupada's books.
No, then they cannot progress. You can't read for them. If the neophyte devotees, even though they are given chance to advance, but if they have no inclination, initiation is enough. But initiation is the beginning. What is the furthering aspects? Advancement. How long one can remain a neophyte?
And Asita Raja Prabhu has a question. He says, we've been reading today that the path to devotional service of confidential values, mellows, is achievable for a sincere sadhaka. So how can we, so then how can we understand that it's said to be rare?
Yeah, because even though it is available in this unfortunate age of Kali, yet we have blockade in our mind because of association with the mode of ignorance and passion. Even though one may consume only prasadam, but if that is the sustenance as well as sense gratification, prasad can be kanika matra. For a tiny jiva, kanika is good enough. But no, they want to gorge over. Do you think one who eats prasadam, a mahaprasadam, is he going to become Krishna conscious guaranteed? No. It will be like overdose or abuse. So we have to be respectful on the prasadam. Distribute anywhere and everywhere. Prasad means mercy of Lord Krishna. The mercy can be distributed. So only we have not only the function to bring the horse to the water, whether the horse is going to drink or not. No, we will wait till horse will drink. That is real compassion. Come on. At least one has put up a step forward, but one has to keep on walking. Slow but steady wins the race. We have to invest our confidence in our fellow God brothers and sisters. We have to cultivate that resolve. After maturity, it comes. We have to take risk. Krishna pays attention to the risk. Then automatically he will pay attention to one who takes the risk. But those who do not want to take the risk, by whatever the reason is, do you think Krishna will be available to them just like that? Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyam. If you take a step forward, Krishna will also reciprocate to you. He will come closer. In taking utter surrender or shelter of Lord Shri Krishna's lotus feet, that he asks, request us. Yet we do within our little capacity. Krishna will be available in that much capacity. If we want to take, no rush, Prabhu, I'll be given better chance next year, next life. Okay, be my guest.
As Sitaraja Prabhu is writing, and then Mahajwal is writing as well. Sitaraja is asking a question. The rarity of Bhava Bhakti, does it mean that it's only available to sincere followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, therefore only once in a day of Brahma?
Yeah. It's a rare opportunity to live in this Kali Yuga. And this life is so precious that Krishna has valued whatever we may have done in the past life to promote us to come to closer this life. So why should we say that Krishna consciousness is so cheap? No, it is not cheap.
And then Mahajwala is saying, thank you for the inspiration to read and study Srila Prabhupada's books, as well as chanting our 16 rounds. Do you recommend other important processes to focus on?
Association of the devotees is very important.
And she writes, especially as age progresses.
They have their own club. Join the club.
And Taravali is asking how to understand which risks we should take and which risks we should leave alone.
Yes, one cannot take much risk if they have to raise the dependence, take care and make it mature. But when they are ready, then you can take a lot of risk at a time. But we must progress. We must be elevated. We must enter into Tivra Bhakti. Krishna provides a time limit also. If somebody pushes you prematurely, would you agree? Oh, yes, Prabhu, I understand. Thank you for reminding me. Be humble, and that's good enough. But don't resist. Oh, it's not my time, Prabhu. Why are you pushing me? I have too much to do, this way, that way. No.
Now Vaman Hari is writing. Maharaj, you said we cannot go to Goloka without knowledge. Is it possible to go without knowledge?
Knowledge comes as a byproduct of performing pure devotional service. And Vairagya also comes. So why do you think that you will not have knowledge? This knowledge means realization. Even realization comes to an illiterate person. That is the nature of bhakti. But guidelines must be followed. Prabhupada's books are filled with guidelines.
Kirtivata is asking, how do we know if we are over-endeavoring or risking more than we should?
When you get frustrated, then you must reflect on it. You will know.
And Mohajwala is seeking clarification. She says, in one sense, Srila Prabhupada and his books are the best association.
Yes, but that is one kind of association. Associations also have several types. Live association with like-minded devotees is very, very important. And with all Vaishnava humility and character, one will be empowered by such association.
Okay. Thank you from all three questioners. Janeswara has his hand up.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Guru Maharaj, I know today's class with for us sometimes it's serious when you say that we should deeply take shelf of Prabhupada's books, which we are endeavoring. Now my question is, while as a sadhaka in making little bit by bit progress, how do we overcome the complacency? Because sometimes when we read, start reading Bhagavatam, and then when at some point when we go back to Bhagavad Gita, that looks like, wow, this is amazing. And then I feel, okay, I should have gone through Bhagavad Gita more deeper. So is it that am I getting the complacency? Sometimes it leads to over complacency. How can we overcome when you told the instruction that we should read? So
how do you overcome?
Complacency. We just get complacent. Okay, now I know Bhagavad Gita, and we start.
Complacencies. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Then sometime all of a sudden we go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Are we eligible? Unless we go to Bhagavatam, we get an understanding of Bhagavatam. We should not go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, or we should hear the past times, but not reading study, because we are not even gone through Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we keep jumping like this, do you think is it over complacency, or is it that we should sometimes go through tick box? Let's see, we may read. Let's read.
If somebody
Chaitamritamrita.
has understood, if somebody has understood the tenets of Bhagavad Gita, the orders of Lord Shri Krishna, and in line to put in practice under the care of a spiritual master, that is an advancement. And the third thing is that reading Srimad Bhagavatam under that care gives exemplification that will give us an impetus to serve Lord Krishna. We will be inspired. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we will be inspired by the characterization of exalted devotees and their subject matter, even though however mundane matter. But because Krishna created, how did he create the material world? These were the questions of Viduraji. And in reference to Krishna, in connection with Krishna, when we take into context, then it is absolutely enlivening. How many technical details it may be. We are not compete with the material science, but material science seems to be puny. They act like children without proper understanding, trial and error and trial and error. But bhakti, the path, is not based on trial and error. It's a definitive royal road to go back home, back to Godhead. So comparatively, we'll be there. We are not transgressing. So reading the books will reveal all these things. Then you go for Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is a natural inclination. It is not that, oh, are you qualified or not qualified? No. Prabhupada said it's a natural progression. If we are irregular, then natural progression will be also irregular, and we may not get the benefit of the recommended method even. We think we are following, but if we follow under the guidance of a senior devotee, it will be very helpful.
One question from Vrishabhanu Sutta, Mataji. What are the symptoms of developing vairagya?
Symptoms of developing vairagya? No. Vairagya comes as a byproduct of bhakti. You have to develop intensified bhakti, it will come faster. Gyan also, Gyan and Vairagya are the byproducts. They will come on the way of our Krishna Bhakti. We have only to do prayojita. Prayojita means we have to endeavor to perform bhakti. Then janetyasu jnanam vairagyam chadahetukam will follow.
And Asita Raja is saying he's saying that he thinks watching the news on YouTube is an anartha, and how should he get rid of it?
Sometimes the news will be useful to preach Krishna consciousness. But a lot of garbage is also there. But what we see is a constant struggle against existence. It's not crime not to know what is going on, but it is crime to replace our regular sadhana At the cost of our sadhana, we should not read or listen or watch this YouTubes and YTubes. That is association with material nature. But we can't remain oblivious to the things that are happening in our vicinity. We have to create caution as well as safety measures also. Most of the safety measures are coming from one's own commitment in devotional service. Yes.
When I wasn't listening to news at all. And then when COVID hit and we arrived at Mangalati and we were locked out, it was a big surprise. Okay, anything else from anybody?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. I have read Srila Prabhupada's books once. That is not to say that I've studied them. And I love to read them over and over again. But I love, in the morning, I do my service, my chanting. I love dressing Giriraj, everything, cooking for him, sewing for him. And after that, at 74, I have no energy left.
That's okay. Whatever you have rendered is a permanent asset. Physical nature will, be removed at the time of death. Then you have ample way to progress further.
I love listening to your classes. I love listening to Srila Prabhupada's short passages online. But sitting down with the book, it's end of the day is not happening.
Yeah, but listen to the books, listen to the lectures,
Yeah.
listen.
Yes, I do
Prabhupada
that.
said
I try that.
everything is written in the books is for those who are able to read. But if you are able to listen Prabhupada's talks, you'll be also absorbed and inspired.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Just reflecting on Damodaratis, I had the same problem, but I've downloaded the BBT app that's got everything, all of Srila Prabhupada's books on audio, so I can listen to them instead of having to read them.
Put that in the library.
Yeah, I'll share that on the group. There's an app the BBT put out. You have to pay for the language for each language pack, but it's you can then listen to all the books, and it's nicely done with bookmarks, so you can go back to where you finished the day before.
Yeah. Good. Make it available.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much.
Haribol.
As Sita Raja Prabhu is saying, today we learned the esoteric meaning of the term Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Even the multiple usage of the term Krishna consciousness, we become oblivious. We think that yes, by physically joining and doing all the thing, but do not think internally how we are developing this attachment to Krishna, then the progress will be less. But when we try to apply within ourselves and become more enthusiastic internally, then internal, push will make us take the risk for the Lord.
Mahajwala Gopi. Oh, no, so yeah, Mahajwala Gopi. In your reading today about Radhakund Seva, how do we serve Radhakund? Two questions are there. Gurmaj, Mahajwala Gopi is asking that you were speaking about Radhakund Seva. How do we serve Radhakund practically?
Keep a bottle of Radhakund water and sprinkle on your head every day.
Good.
Take that water and just like Ganga water, and then you make tilak and apply on your body at 12 different places.
Then Janaki Jeevan has a question. How to develop patience when we are performing devotional services and desiring advancements quickly? The mind is always wanting quick results.
How to?
How to develop patience when he's
Patience.
performing devotional service and wanting it to advance quickly.
How to develop patience. Read from Upadeshamritam, Utsaha Nishchaya, Dhairyat. Dhairya means patience. Tatta Karva Pravartana. What does Srila Prabhupada write about Dhairya? Understand that patience. For cultivating Dhairya, you need mode of goodness. If you are in mode of passion, Dhairya will never come that easy. And those who are in mode of ignorance, and they don't care about Dhairya, they want to take immediate action. They do not consider whether it is beneficial or harmful. That is demoniac. So cultivation means applying in our life. Applying in our life. It's called cultivation of any particular thing. If it is not applied in our life, then there is no way one can develop patience. Haribol.
Yes, Hare Krishna Gurmaj. Ujjvala Rasika, can one go to Krishna in this very lifetime?
Yes, why not? Antakale cha mame vasmaran mukta kalevaram saprayati madbhavam jati natra samshaya. Right?
Yes, Gurmaj. Thank you from Janaki Jeevan.
All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Gurudev.
Thank you,
Hare
Guru.
Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.